Hello and welcome back, everyone, to the grand finals of the Season 6 Invitational Eternal Tournament Series. I'm, of course, your host, Bairdrus, once again joined by my wonderful co-host, Calimdir.
Hey, how you doing? Excited to bring back this rematch from day one, where we had Lights Out Ice take down Moosh in the winners bracket 2-0. Now Moosh battling his way all the way back up through the losers bracket to face Lights Out Ace again in the grand finals. Can he turn around two series in a row, or will the resident aReNGee representative take down the Invitational once and for all?
Yeah, and unless I'm mistaken, this would be the first time somebody who's been a part of our organization has actually won a major event like this. I know Pojo got to
Second place.
the finals. Yeah, he got to the finals of the Season 2 Invitational, if I remember correctly.
Before he
And
was taken down.
Rhino's
by,
gotten really close a few times as well, but nobody's ever finished it. So let's see if Ace can finish it out here once and for all. Bring a little glory home.
Yep. And this is also, it's been a while since we've had a Stone Scar v Combre finals, I believe. But,
Yeah, it's been quite a while, I believe. I think the last one might have been like the Season 5 Invitational was like a Stone Scar mirror. But other than that, yeah, I think the Season 4, MSM, Season 3, and Season 2, I believe, were all Stone Scar versus Big Combry. So, yeah, been quite a while. And we finally got a little bit of variance up here. So let's see who is going to take it down in the set. Just as a reminder to all of our new viewers and returning viewers who forgot, this is a double elimination bracket. So Moosh, coming from the losers bracket, will have to win 2 sets of best of 5. We'll have to win the first set in order to get a bracket reset and then also beat Ace a second time. So it's a long road ahead of him, but certainly one climb after all he's done today.
And the players get into the game, just passing back and forth, playing power. Moosh not able to get to 3 power. He's going to really want to draw power immediately next turn because he can't play any other cards besides his Desert Marshal. Whereas on Ace's side, he's got 3rd power and Vera's Favor ready to go. He's got Dawn Walker and a Blister Sting and some removal to back it up. So pretty rough for Moosh here unless he draws out of it.
Yeah, he is going to have to get past all this early aggression, and not having power in his hand, setting him up in a bad position. So Ace is going to be pushing a lot of early damage here.
He does have this Desert Marshal to deal with this Dawn Walker pretty cleanly, which is an upside. All right, there is a bright side here, and if he does draw perhaps like a Justice Sigil next turn, it's going to set him up decently as the game goes on. And the TJP deck does have, it does hold the board well. So as the game goes on, he can just play out these Amber Acolytes, play out this Obelisk, and potentially just take over the board. But, Ace will have a few things to say about that.
Yeah, first he's going to establish this Blister Sting Wasp, and also he's got the Sandstorm Titan in his pocket for the next turn. Let's see how that comes up.
So this Initiative of the Sands, not really what Moosh wanted to see here, but it does just barely dodge that Vera's Favor that came out last turn. So he is going to be able to play Amber Acolyte next turn. But it's really slow here. He's taking damage that he doesn't need to be taking, or he shouldn't normally be taking. Banish, wow, Ace, so no mercy on the side of Lights Out Ace here. Gonna banish that Initiate, get out of here. Moosh draws another one. This is so much tempo that he's losing here. He's not able to play any of his cards. Sure, he's got a handful of gas, but he cannot get to it.
Yeah, and he's going to have to take another beat down here. Ace also able to establish a Sandstorm Titan this turn if he wants. His opponent's already at 8. Sandstorm Titan coming in, going to be another big body. And Moosh really doesn't even have a good follow-up here. He can establish at best 1 unit.
Yeah, Moosh drawing the depleted power here. Can play maybe an Amber Acolyte and then doesn't even have great blocks. He can double block the Instigator, take 2 just from triggers, and then still take 5 from the Sandstorm Titan and be dead, basically. He would have to chump block. So this is a really, really nearly impossible situation to get out of. Ace showing absolutely no mercy here with that banish on that Initiate, just strangling Moosh on his power.
Yeah, and here comes what's likely to be the conclusion. We'll see. Moosh will go ahead and silence the Blister Sting Wasp, but I don't think it's going to matter. The onslaught has already occurred. Ace has the Death Strike here to take one more threat off the table, and we're going to see the rest of the units come crashing here. Yeah, I don't think there's a way out of this for Moosh at this point. As long as Ace goes ahead and drops the Death Strike here into the Awakened Student. This will also work as well. I don't like it quite as much, but I get Ace's thinking here.
Yeah, either way, I think we'll get him there. If for some reason Moosh was able to deal with this at all, having the 4/4 instigator would be pretty good. And he does get to keep his instigator instead of it getting chumped by or trading with this Valkyrie Enforcer. But yeah, either way, Moosh is in a nearly impossible situation to get out of, and he just scoops it up.
Wow, scoops it up. I mean, he at least had some outs there. Like, he wasn't in a good position. He was going to be
I'm
jump
not
blocking
sure that he
there,
did have any outs. Even Vanquish or something like that, he just dies from instigator triggers.
Eventually he does, yeah, but it's likely that Ace is going to attack next turn, and then he could bait Ace if he draws undepleted power, like an undepleted primal. He drops Kothon, and then Ace goes to Death Strike it. He hits it with Stand Together. Now he's secured the board a little bit better. I think he can even double block the Titan as long as he sacrifices. Maybe it's really tough to call,
Yeah,
but yeah,
in a match this important, it's always good to just see what the last card you draw is.
yeah, it's okay though. We will go ahead and hurry on to
now.
our game 2. And Ace probably going to mulligan here. Not a very powerful hand out of him. Moosh with a much better start this time around. Not going to be stuck here. And even picks up a second obelisk.
Yeah, if Moosh had a seat of progress, holy moly, this would have been insane. He could have just gone initiate into turn 2 student plus power. But going to go a little slower here. Still going to get turn 2 student into turn 3 obelisk, which is nothing to joke about.
Yeah, definitely. Although because of the sequencing here, the student will unfortunately be missing that extra trigger, as you had pointed out. But yeah, he's definitely got his early hand rolling. He's going to be able to go Valkyrie Enforcer on the next turn, or you can drop an obelisk even since he is accelerated on his power. Ace going to take a little bit of time to just punch in, and he does have a Blister Sting Wasp, although that will very likely get silenced here by the Valkyrie Enforcer.
Okay, so this game just got really interesting. Moosh now is just going to play out these 3 threats that he has, and he's going to spend their next couple turns developing these obelisks. Lights Out Ace has the answers to this early aggression, but he can't really push through that much damage himself, and he's not going to be really threatening very much. So that means it's going to give Moosh the time to play all these obelisks. Then we're going to be in a position where if Ace doesn't draw these Carnosaurs and these things that he's looking for in the late game, and then Moosh just skips right over and starts playing these scouting parties with 3 obelisks in play, there's no way Ace is going to be able to keep up with that value. So Ace is going to really have to draw something or play something that puts on pressure here to not let Moosh establish all these obelisks.
Yeah, I think this is actually a pretty good line here, though, because as long as Moosh doesn't draw gas, Ace is going to be able to drop the Auric Interrogator. And what's going to happen here is that Moosh is likely going to drop an obelisk and possibly start pushing damage, but the clock isn't in his favor, and Ace can use next turn to drop a Death Strike. Now, the question really becomes, where does he put the Death Strike? That's what I find more interesting, is he has a lot of options here as far as going between the Awakened Student and the Valkyrie Enforcer. It depends on what he feels is more threatening and which he's worried about. Is he worried about dying himself, or is he worried about finding a way to push more damage? If it comes down to more damage, I think you're going to take off the Awakened Student here, and you're not going to care nearly as much about the Flyer.
Yeah, I don't think Moosh ever attacks here. I think he wins the late game as long as he can survive because of these 3 obelisks. Taking out that Awakened Student, I think, is fine from Lights Out Ace. Lets him actually attack in with this Interrogator, which is what he needs to do. He needs to start getting pressure out because he cannot compete with the value of these obelisks. Like once enough obelisks come down, Carnosaur stops being able to do what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, and fortunately, Ace hasn't found that Carnosaur yet. It would be very effective now, but it's not going to be as effective later. he still has pushed Moosh down to 14, which is at least respectable. And Ace does have the Reinhardt coming into play next turn, but all of a sudden, even this Initiate of the Sands has become a 3-3, and this is certainly going to slow Ace down.
Yeah, I mean, Moosh can play out Amber Acolyte and Obelisk next turn, or this turn right here. Then he's just one power away from giving all of his units an additional +3/+3 in addition to the +3/+3 that are going to have right now. And then he's going to have 2 flyers in play that are 6/6 or no, that are, oh my god, 12/12. Is that right? Holy moly.
Not quite 12-12,
No,
going to be 9-9.
9/9.
Yeah.
I'm good at math. I did ×2 instead of +3. Anyways. Yeah, now he's got 3 flyers that are all going to be 9/9 if he draws power, and I don't think Ace is going to be able to deal with that. And if he plays a Titan, like, you know, even if he plays a Titan right now, the final Valkyrie Enforcer is just going to open up the skies again. But he's just going to silence both Reinhardts right now, and I think that's the way to go because that's 18 damage in the air.
Yeah, I don't think Ace is going to be able to get here, unfortunately, recognizes the writing on the wall and throws in the towel. So we are split at 1 game apiece as we're going to head towards our player sideboards, which we'll take a look at for one final time today.
Yeah, yeah, that was just really interesting. Like I said, those obelisks so powerful. Ace really needed to get something to start pushing the board because he's normally the control deck in that matchup. But with the obelisks, there's no way he can play that way.
Yep, and here we go. We're going to take a look at these sideboards. Although our players might be moving into the matchup quite quickly, so we'll have to take.
Yeah, they've played. Lights Out Ace has played this matchup a number of times.
And
so I'm sure he's got his sideboard all set up. And Moosh as well, experienced player, and this has been a long tournament. They've been doing a lot of sideboarding all day and yesterday. So we already have them back into the game.
Yep, Moosh going to be bringing in very likely Permafrost, Island's Choice, Stand Together, or Runehammer. The usual suspects, Vanquish, Backlash, also possibilities. And of course on Ace's side, let's see what he's bringing in. Same thing he brought in last time. Just want to take a look at it real quick while they're getting in their early turns.
Yeah, he's got that sweet Infinite Hourglass.
Infinite Hourglass, Sabotage, Suffocate, Cat Burglar as well. Somewhat likely to come in, so very solid cards here out of Ace.
I'm interested to see if he brings in to find out after if he brought in the third obelisk, because obviously having obelisks counters your opponent's obelisks, and especially when you can banish away your opponent's obelisks and you can actually put that advantage on your side. So, but it is pretty low tempo.
Yeah, absolutely. We've already seen the Permafrost from the sideboard coming into work here. Argenboard Instigator being stuck to the board, although Ace goes ahead and takes care of this Awakened Student that comes out and establishes a Sand Titan. So that'll come beating down across the table for a few turns. He also has a Suffocate he's holding in hand that came out of his sideboard. He's going to be able to take care of any of these threats that Moosh deploy this turn. And it's going to lead off with the Seraph. This is definitely going to get taken care of by the Suffocate, and Ace is going to be pushing 5 damage forward.
Yeah, I really like Ace's odds here. The Suffocate and the Sandstorm Titan are going to do a lot of work. Sandstorm Titan, this early aggression that he has, is really where he needs to be against Moosh's deck, because as we saw, like as the game goes on, unless Ace is drawing those Carnosaurs before Obelisks come down, Moosh's deck can just build up a board that can't be attacked into at all.
Ooh, and this is going to be interesting here. I'm assuming Moosh is going to drop the Valkyrie Enforcer. Ace is very likely going to try and go ahead and bait the double block here. It'll be interesting to see if Moosh actually gives it to him. I doubt he will, but either way, Ace is still going to be pushing 5 damage a turn here, and that's really what matters.
Yeah, absolutely. And comes down another Instigator, so no matter how this goes, Death Strike is dealing 2 damage, and if he had taken the double block, would have been 4 from those 2 Instigators. So Ace in a pretty good position here. Gonna use that Death Strike to try and get around a potential Stand Together.
Yep, that gets him down to 11. He gets around the Stand Together. Now, even if the Valkyrie Enforcer comes down, Ace is pushing 5 damage minimum this turn. Oh, sorry. No, he will not anymore because the Instigator being silenced, so he will only be pushing 4 damage
or
minimum.
2 damage minimum, right? If he blocks both, because one of the Instigators is silenced.
Yeah, it's 2 damage minimum, although I have to imagine Moosh would never block that way. It's much more likely that Moosh is going to
right.
block,
He drew another Instigator. Okay.
He's going to double block the Sandstorm Titan here, so he'll only lose 1 of these units, but he will be taking 5 damage now, 3 from the Instigator and triggers.
Yeah, this is really where Ace wants to be.
Yeah, and I think that
And
just
wow.
seals the game up more or less. I mean, Moosh will go down to 1 on this following swing, but again, he's down to 1, so not going well for Moosh in the series.
Yep, Vanquish is missing the target there.
We'll see what Ace has, and Var's favor. Wow, even had the Var's favor to go ahead and give him the lethal, so ensuring that we're not even going to see another turn. Wants to go ahead and lock it up right away.
So that's Ace 2-1 over Moosh right now, which means that if Ace wins the next game, he is your Season 6 Invitational Champion. So this is a really intense match, this next one.
Yeah, this is going to be very close. Moosh is going to have to run it back 2 games to 0 to get a bracket reset, and then he's going to have to do it all over again. So it's going to be a long, long climb here for Moosh all the way back to the top. But he can certainly do it. He's shown the prowess for it all day. He's played a very impressive game. He's very familiar with the deck. He piloted it well. He can stop Ace here, but he's going to need a little bit of luck and a lot of skill.
And both players here very skilled, as they've shown throughout this event.
Yeah, certainly. Both players playing absolutely at their peaks right now. This has been a fantastic tournament, a fantastic day, and a fantastic set right here between these two players. We're going to see if Ace is able to close it out in this game, or potentially the next game, or if Moosh is able to get a reset and take us to a second series.
Is this the least premium grand finals that we've ever had? I wonder. Because usually we end up with players with the full premium decks making it.
Yeah, well, we do often have players who have just foiled their decks out. It's a lot of the regulars. And, you know, there are a lot of new cards being represented here, certainly out of, like, Ace. So, with the
Interrogators.
The Interrogators, he doesn't have the full set. So, yeah. Same with Moosh, though. I mean, the Kothons, it's expensive. Expensive to foil him out. Probably saving his hard-earned gold or hard-earned dust, rather, for a few other things.
So do you think he plays out the Awakened Student here and just maybe goes with Permafrost followed by Vanquish or something like that? Or does he just play out Amber Acolyte or Kothon or something?
It's hard to say on this turn. Like, you might just Permafrost here on the Interrogator because you're scared of taking all this damage, although you could just throw down another Kothon and throw the double block. I don't think that's horrible, although going this line, Ace does have the Suffocate, but he at least did use the Permafrost, so he locked up the Interrogator. So I think this was fine overall. Would be very surprised if Ace didn't Suffocate right here. Probably going to take the Awakened Student, and he does. There's definitely an argument to take Kothon, but I think it's a little early in the game to be taking Kothons out. If we were on turn 5, perhaps, then you definitely have a much harder consideration there.
Yep, and Moosh now kind of not drawing the more aggressive side of his deck. He did get the Awakened Student, but Kothon, Amber Acolyte, Scouting Party, even not super aggressive, more of this late game type thing, more of this value type cards. And Ace, the flexibility of the Xenon deck, where it's just got these cards like Interrogator, which is a value engine with any of Obelisk or Xenon Initiation or something, but it's also just a 4/3, right? That is the threatening body.
Yeah, the 4/3 is just going to push down some damage here, but this is going to be close back and forth. Ace really needs to get himself into a position where he can gain some value, preferably out of this card, this Carnosaur, though he does opt to play the Seat instead to get the Reinhardt. So we're not going to see the Carnosaur coming out in 3 turns, but we will see a Reinhardt on this following turn unless Ace picks up something better.
So I like how Moosh is playing this. I didn't love the Permafrost because I felt like the game was going to go kind of long, and I wanted to see him Permafrost the Blister Sting Wasp. But obviously Vanquish has way more targets, and he made the right choice here, especially now that he's got that silence. So I think after he vanquishes this Carnosaur, which he's going to have to do, and that was a really great draw on Ace's side, by the way, the power to play that Carnosaur right then. He's going to be able to establish Scouting Party next turn, potentially, or just activate Kothon, and going to be kind of set up to catch up back in the late game.
Yeah, Scouting Party is going to be great here, though. Like, Moosh is happy to trade off, I think, the Valkyrie Enforcer at this point, since he knows he's got the Scouting Party to reload with. But if Ace can find at least one more unit, he'll be looking pretty good. That being said, Kothon's also ready to ultimate at this point, and that gives Ace another way to win this game. Although, to be fair, maybe Ace just won't care. Like, definitely Ace is going to, I think, truck the Reinhardt through right now and be willing to trade it into the Owl and the Amber Acolyte, but
Yeah, and I think that's
Owl
what
Kothon.
both players want, because Moosh wants to get rid of this Reinhardt so that his scouting party's better, and Ace wants to get rid of the Owl so that, you know, he's not taking as much damage in the air and not taxing his removal as heavily.
Yeah, and Ace is just not finding anything but power right now, and that's not the position he wants to be in. He wants to be finding these units. He wants to find any type of removal spell to take care of some of these units, although now with the Scouting Party down, it's not going to help a lot. Argenport Instigator, certainly not the worst draw in his deck here, though Moosh is going to connect 2 cards here. He will be taking some damage, though, so, I mean, that's good for Ace. Any points of damage he can go ahead and put on Moosh is a good thing.
Yeah, this is an awkward position. If I would rather be in Moosh's shoes right now, just because Obelisk is a super live draw, another scouting party is a super live draw. I'm drawing 2 extra cards here. There's a lot more going for him overall, but Ace definitely has a lot of cards you can draw to get out of the situation.
Yes, he certainly can. We'll see, though. Moosh drawing power and then Seraph. Now, Seraph is a huge hit here. That's
Absolutely
very big. Seraph's going to be going off next turn, unless Ace can find some way to take care of it. Ace really needs to find a Banish or a Suffocate here, and I believe he just found a power, so that is going to stop him in his tracks, and Moosh has definitely turned the corner at this point, and a Reliquary Raider is a huge pickup as well.
Yeah, wow. Reliquary Raider is card advantage on top of card advantage with that Seraph hit.
Yeah, not only is it card advantage, but it's also more life. It stops Ace from really being able to ever push here. And now that Moosh has found Obelisk, this is going to go ahead and lock up the game.
Yeah, that Obelisk was nuts. This is going to be +2/+2 to the whole team. Potentially just lethal here, right?
Yeah, I think he's going to force his way in
Yep.
here, and I don't think there's anything Ace can do about it. You can probably make some blocks there that keep you alive, but you sacrifice the whole board, and it's not getting any smaller. So Moosh will go ahead and tie the series at 2 games apiece. We're going to head into this last game and see if he can bring it back.
Yeah, wow. This is 2-2 in the grand final match here. If Moosh wins this, we play an entire other series to decide who's the champion here.
Yeah, it's coming down to the wire for both of these players right now. Let's see what happens as we do queue into our next game. Let's check out the mulligans. This is going to be a big one here. Moosh with an interesting hand. He's going to go ahead and keep it. He's got Seraph. Oh, no. Okay, he ships that one back. Yeah. He's got double Initiative of the Sands, Permafrost, Seraph. Well, that's certainly a hand, and he picks up another power. He might get the Seraph off a little earlier than he thinks. Going to be sitting on 6 power very early in the game. Although, if it wasn't for that top deck, power, neither of these initiates would be playable or the Seraph. So, very, very fortunate.
I bring you aid.
Let us see, though. Oh, this next. We're going to check out the next few turns of this game. Got Moosh right now. It's establishing his early threats. Lights out Ace just not having a lot going on early anyway. He does have this Dawnwalker that he'll now be able to commit to the board. It's going to stop the Seraph from poking in, as well as the Initiative of Sands. None of that incidental damage coming through anymore. But Moosh does have the Vanquish as well as the Permafrost to take care of it. And man, this is starting to look good for him. Ace just goes ahead and ambushes in the Ion at the end of turn. Now, Ace does have 2 of the Dark Returns here, so this is fine for him. If he ends up losing any of his units, he can bring them back at some point, and he finds an Infinite Hourglass. Now, that's actually a super live draw here. This is going to stop the Dawnwalker from just being permafrosted onto the board. That Permafrost was looking very, very big here for Moosh. It was going to be able to lock the Dawnwalker down and keep him from running away with this game. And now with the Infinite Hourglass, Ace is going to be able to stabilize, and Moosh doesn't have a lot going on outside of that.
Yeah, if it wasn't for that one of Infinite Hourglass, Moosh was about to get really ahead on tempo here, and Ace really can't afford to let that happen.
Yeah, he can't afford to fall behind, as we saw in the last game. Once he starts to fall behind, it's too easy for Moosh to just snowball the game. And Ace with some decision making here, deciding whether or not he wants to get in. He is going to. This is going to get abused by the island's choice. And interesting that he went for the initiate there, actually. I guess he's trying to keep him away from cards like Scouting Party, but
Well,
I feel like I would take down the Seraph
I
there.
like this play from Ace because the Dawnwalker can get value on its own. Now he's got Dark Return Ion available, right? And that is scary for Moosh.
Yeah, it's not necessarily about the Ion Dark Return. It was about the choosing to attack the Initiative Sands over
Initiate, right,
Seraph.
right.
Yeah, I just didn't like the Initiate nearly as much, just because, I mean, Musha's already so, like, far ahead on power. It's like, you're really not going to stop him much by taking care of one Initiate. Again, it does prevent Scouting Party this turn, which, fortunately, Moosh doesn't have. Though, Moosh is at least putting some of this pressure on. Ace is going to have the Ion for the following turn, though it will be vanquished away, depending on the sequencing here. And Ace just elects to get the Dawnwalker out. This is going to get punished by the Vanquish, but if Moosh chooses to use the Vanquish here, the Dawnwalker will get brought back by the Ion, and he won't have a removal for the Ion.
So I think because of this infinite hourglass, I think Ace is going to take this right here because he just barely managed to gain enough life, not let Moosh push in with these. Because I mean, sure, 2 initiates not super threatening, but the CRF can get there. And backed up by 2 removal spells, can really get the job done. But Ace played around that by using, by being able to gain some life with this Ion potentially, and having that be the card that he is more invested in rather than a Dawnwalker. And then now he's going to be able to eventually play this Carnosaur as well. So even if Moosh can deal with this Ion, he's got the other Dark Return, and it's going to just be nearly impossible for him to get through. And Moosh drawing another Permafrost is another dead card with this Infinite Hourglass. It's going to be really hard for Moosh to get through this.
Yeah, that's super punishing there. Moosh finding the Permafrost. If only he had gotten Lights Out Ace's draw of the Xenon Obelisk, this would be even better. Although
Well,
now that the Seraph is online, yeah, I mean, Seraph is going to start spinning, and this is not great. Although he at least only got 1 spin, Ace is still going to need some removal spell to take care of this now
it was a
very large
pretty good
Prophetic
spin.
Stranger.
It's a pretty good spin, though. I mean, that is a very edgy 12-12.
Yeah, that is not really going anywhere, and probably going to connect with Ace's face at least once. And there's a Xenon Obelisk, so yet another one of those cards Moosh was looking for. And Moosh also has the Vanquish, so he can go do a combo this turn where he goes ahead and drops the Obelisk and then goes Vanquish on one of these.
Yeah, that one activation from that Seraph might very well just turn the game around completely because I mean, Ace, sure, he can draw Death Strike, which can, or Blister Sting Wasp, and then everything will be fine for him. But for now, he didn't have a plan for this. He had a plan for Seraph, he had a plan for what was on the board, but not a 14/14 Prophetic Stranger.
Yeah, and it's also a 7-drop, so Banish isn't even on the table here either.
Yeah.
So he's only going to be able to find cards like this. I mean, he does find Ion. He takes down the Initiate. This lowers the power. I mean, this is all very solid stuff here. He's going to push some of his damage, and he did recover a ton of health. So this was very, very good for him, and it's going to buy him a few more turns to look for those answers, but he's still in that top decking mode. This does, however, stall Moosh a little bit because now Moosh can't afford to swing with the Prophetic Stranger with this board staring him down.
Yeah, I think Ace has gotten into a more stable position. He's going to be able to play this Carnosaur, play this Obelisk out eventually, and then he can just hold back his big dudes to block this Prophetic Stranger. And yeah, basically Moosh has just drawn 2 dead cards. Where
Seen an Obelisk. Big card here out of Ace. Ace is getting close to that, as well as he's got a Predatory Carnosaur in hand that he's just been holding on to. He's finally going to be able to play that Predatory Carnosaur with the 6 power, though. Moosh finally finds Kothon, so this is a nice hit for him as well, and that is a 6/6 owl. I mean, it's quite large itself.
If Moosh can find another Vanquish, Ace could definitely be in trouble here.
Yeah, though Ace, if he can find one more power, will be able to take care of this owl with just the. Oh, actually, he can already take care of the owl
Yeah.
with the one trigger with the predatory. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that one come down right now. And yeah, Ace just needs to find one Vanquish. On Moosh's side, he's really looking for Scouting Party at this point. That's the big card for him. If he can bust the board open with the Scouting Party and force through a ton of damage, he'll be in a much better position. Sandstorm Titan, not a bad pickup.
Even if he plays the Scouting Party, though, Ace gains 7 life, blocks all of the Yetis, and Moosh doesn't push through a lethal amount of damage.
Yeah, this is true as well. The Prophetic Stranger is just not quite big enough. I mean, it's weird to be saying that about a 14-14, but Ace is in a very comfortable position at 28 life. He was able to gain a bunch back off of the Ion lifesteal. So, do see a very big Sandstorm Titan coming down. Now, at least that Sandstorm Titan will require 2 blocks next turn, so it's possible we'll finally see that chip in, although not anymore now that Ace picks up that last point power he was looking for to push that obelisk over the top.
So now we're in a true and proper board stall, right? So who here has the most cards that potentially break this board stall? Ace has the 4 interrogators. He's got death strikes, which can help, and banishes as well. Whereas Moosh really only has the extra obelisks and Seraph. So I think actually, as the game goes on, okay, I guess Moosh can just draw a bunch of scouting parties. So it's actually pretty close.
Yeah, this is very close back and forth, and both players just continue to hit power off the top of their decks, so not really going anywhere at the moment. And fortunately for Ace, so now see, if Ace can ever find a way to get rid of the Stranger, he can break this board open since he has the Infinite Hourglass. Like, he can swing without fear of getting cracked back, whereas Moosh is always scared of dying right away. Now, this is very bad for Ace because now the Seraph is going to start spinning, and this might just spin out of control and take the game for him. See High Branch Sentry coming down. Not the most impactful, but it's still a 10-10. Like, at some point, he'll just start throwing these into the board.
Yeah, Moosh, the first one to draw a card advantage engine in this board stall. And so he's going to just be able to throw out 10-10, 6-6s, or whatever. Anything that can actually trade. And another Seraph! Oh, man. Premium Seraph makes Premium Seraph. Premiumception right there.
Yeah, he rolls Seraph into Seraph, so now he's got a very large Seraph to just hang out, and now Ace can't even rely on drawing a single removal spell to take care of the first Seraph. This looks like it's very much going in Moosh's favor. I can't think of a way Ace is going to get out of this one.
Well, he can draw removal into removal and have Moose just make like a measly 10-10, you know? So it's possible.
Yeah, it's possible to get out of here, but not very likely. And Ace is at the mercy of his deck, which only wants to spit him power at this point.
Yeah, if removal had been drawn earlier, that Runehammer looking a little out of place here.
Yeah, it at least takes care of a Dawnwalker, but that's about it here. And Moosh probably not even going to waste his time. Just give Seraph another spin.
He might go for Enforcer Dawnwalker or something just because he can get rid of it forever. But yeah, I agree. He's probably just going to activate Seraph.
Yeah, Enforcer Dawnwalker's not bad, though. You're right. I mean, he can at least stop it from recurring. It's not terrible. It's pretty obvious, I think, Moosh, that Ace's hand is dead, so...
There's also just a lot of silence targets on Ace's board.
Yep, and what's our last roll? Quite disappointing, actually. It's going to be a Silverwing Avenger, though. I think he will get to summon, so...
It's going to be 8/8. It's just doing the summon.
Oh, no. Silverwing Avenger's a 2, so it is a 4/4.
Yeah, but it's going to be
Oh, you're right, because of the Xenon Obelisk. So, yeah, it is still an 8/8. Yeah. Man, this is just brutal back and forth.
And there, finally, Ace has his own card advantage ending with that Interrogator. And finally, the board is full on Moosh's side, so there's a limit to how much value you can get with these Seraph rolls. He's going to probably just suicide in some of these big units. Ace is going to probably have to try and double block with Dawnwalkers to try and mitigate losing too much there.
Yeah, this is This is gonna get
Wow. Did you
close
see
here.
Ace's draw there?
I didn't see. Oh, Xenon Obelisk. Yeah. Whoa. That's actually gonna bust this board. So depending on what Moosh does, this might swing back in Ace's favor.
Yeah, this could go either way, just because Infinite Hourglass turns off a lot of Moosh's deck. So yeah, here's gonna go for the suicide attack. It's pretty good, right? Like he is trading 1-for-1 with each of these cards, at least. And then he can refill his board with Seraph activations.
Yeah, he will be able to. We're gonna see a bunch of trades here. Ace doesn't have that many threats, though. I guess he can just kind of sacrifice these Dawnwalkers over and over. We're gonna see what gets traded out here.
He might be tempted to sacrifice Ion for one of these 8/8s because he's going to gain life, and then the killer Ion will be back in the void if he draws another Dark Return. But I think he's already played 2, and I think he might only run 2.
Let's take a look since we're sitting here doing combat math. Yeah,
Oh,
Ace only has 2
some
Dark
more.
Returns unless he sideboarded an extra copy. Yeah.
Yep. So attacks come through. Ace losing a couple units here as expected. And he definitely uses those Dawnwalkers. And then he's just willing to take damage to try and stay relevant on the board here.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be enough, though. Now Ace is down to 8, and I don't think there's enough here. Like, the Runehammer's even going to come in. He's going to use this to clean up an extra unit. And now the size of the board is way too... There's just such a disparity in the size of the board. Like, 5 units to 12, and, like, almost every single one of them on Moosh's size can provide lethal.
Yep, and that Valkyrie Force are doing an effective 8 damage by removing the lifesteal from Ion. And now I don't think Ace has enough units. Even if he blocked everything and took 0 damage from that, he would still probably just die from instigator triggers.
Yep. So this is going to be a bracket reset. We are going to be seeing a second series here, which I know is what everybody out in our audience wanted to see. They wanted this to run another 5 games,
Well,
and it's certainly going to.
What happens? Okay, so if he ace spaces here, only Seraph is actually big enough to definitely kill. Like, Moosh has, Initiate, Amber Acolyte, a couple of these other cards.
3 units slip through.
Okay, 3 units slip through. Yep, you're right.
So
okay, so that's just nothing.
Yeah, no way. As long as even 2 units are coming through, plus after all the trading math, like the Argenport Instigator triggers are going to kill him. So.
Yep.
This is unfortunately going to end the first series, but as I was saying, we're going to see a second series here. We're going to see which player can run it back this time, as we are going to be all in on the last match.
And Ace just calculating how dead he is. The answer is skeleton. Let's see.
It's just got to count his blockers real quick. I mean, he doesn't have any removal in hand, and even if he did, it's certainly not enough here, so. Looks like he's going to throw some blocks anyway, but yeah, it's not going to matter, unfortunately. There's way too much unblocked.
And there he goes. Ace's portrait will explode, and we will go to the second match in this series, going for another potentially 5 games.
Oh yeah, we're going to see if we go to another 5-game set here, as players are now going to de-sideboard their decks, and we are going to see some main board games again. Which, you have to admit, Ace is decently favored in the main board. I think that's what helped him out a lot in his last set when he played against... who did he play against last? Defter, of course. Yeah, when he played against Defter, I think the fact that he started up 2-0 in our pre-board games was very helpful for him, because his sideboard is good, but so is the TJP mid-range deck sideboard. It has a lot of very useful cards, so...
Yeah, definitely. So interesting. This is the first series that Ace has lost in this tournament to this TJP deck. So for him, if he were to lose 2 in a row, that would be pretty spectacular.
Yeah, it would be pretty spectacular indeed. That's definitely a good word for it. And we've never seen that happen.
Yeah, we've never
actually had a loser's bracket reset and then win.
Yeah, we have in season 2 had Loco Pojo from the losers bracket reset against iRead Minds, who eventually defeated him in the second series to become the season 2 invitational champion. But we've never had the player from the losers bracket actually winning both sets and taking the championship for themselves.
Yeah, it's hard to come by. It's a rare feat. It takes an incredible amount of skill, patience, and luck to get there. But we just might see it today. We should be heading into the next games very soon.
Yep. I think both players are still just working on getting their decks together. I I always clone my deck. All right. PSA to everyone out there playing an ETS. Just take your deck, make a version with 75, make a version with 90 with your whole sideboard in it, and just clone the 90 every time. And that way you never have to change anything. Um, when you go, you never take cards back out and set your deck back up to the way it used to be. You just always have that regular 75 all set up.
Yep, that's the way I do it as well. In the very few tournaments I've played, I have a fantastic tournament record. For those of you who don't know, I'm quite an accomplished tournament player. I actually helped push Visarius into this tournament by helping him win his game in the last chance qualifier. So he got me round 1 and got a free win there. So yeah, quite accomplished. I help push future winners and finalists onward. I can definitely claim that. We do have a slight holdup, so we are going to take just a very short break. Oh, no, we're not. We are actually going to get right into the matchup. It looks like challenge has finally gone out. Players are now into the game. Got Moosh here holding a hand of double Initiate of the Sands and a Valkyrie Enforcer, as well as a Seek Power. Let's check out what Ace has got.
Yeah, Ace on the other side has Dawn Walker, Sandstorm Titan, Carnosaur with power, and he's going to keep that because he's going to use these diplomatic seals to get double time influence and be able to play just about everything in his deck except for Carnosaur, and I'm pretty sure he'll be able to draw another time influence somewhere along the way.
Yes, he probably will be, so he will be able to lead off those double times, but this is a pretty solid hand for Ace. Like, he'll at least have the Dawnwalker 3 and of course, Sandstorm Titan. Oh, I'm losing my mind, guys. It's been almost 7 hours. I'm sorry. He'll have the Sandstorm Titan to follow up on turn 4.
Yep. And so how do you feel about Moosh's hand over here? You like him accelerating into this Valkyrie Enforcer, which he needs 2 Justice for? All right, so he didn't like that. He's going to send that back, probably for good reason. He has, wow, so he has turn 2 Desert Marshal and nothing else, or, Vanquish. So he needs to draw something to get this Amber Acolyte out, or he's going to be stuck for a while, and Ace is going to take this pretty quickly.
Yeah, this will definitely be an interesting set here. Ooh, yeah, not a great hand here. Great hand out of either player, really. If he gets stuck on 2 power, like you just said, yeah, Ace should be able to pressure him down, but finding a Seraph, that's a good card on 3 power, but not quite. What time? Oh, Moosh is in the French time zone, isn't he? So he's in, like, European summertime, maybe? So it's probably very early in the morning for him, given that it's 7 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah, it's only 3:50 over here on the West Coast, so I'm still ready to go, but
yeah, that's a little bit nicer over here. We got it's almost 7 here, so I've been up for just a little bit, but see a Dawnwalker coming down now. We got a Desert Marshal coming in for the silence, of course. So Dawnwalker not going to be.
I'm having deja vu. Didn't we see exactly this happen? We saw Moosh get stuck on 2, only play B Desert Marshal on a Dawnwalker, and then be like, well, I guess hopefully this Instigator or this Initiate lives. And then Ace had a banish for it. This time it's going to be Avera's favor.
Yeah, even nicer here. So I'm assuming Ace is going to take care of this. We'll go ahead and take care of the Initiative of the Sands, and looks like he's going to be well on his way to winning this first game already. Yep, that's another Seraph picked up, which is not the card he would be looking for here. And Ace has plenty of options when it gets passed back to him. He's going to be able to drop the Sandstorm Titan if he chooses. He can also get the Auric Irrigator down. Definitely going to be getting in here with the Dawnwalker, I imagine. Oh, nice.
I think he might Interrogator initiation and just get in for 4.
Yeah, I like that now that he has 5 power. Like I like the Auric Interrogator, plus it gives you the extra card draw. Though it looks like Ace is just going to take the safer route. Go ahead and drop the Sandstorm Titan. Moosh doesn't find a power still, though he does have a Vanquish now at least, so we'll give him an option here. We're going to see if Ace wants to play his Carnosaur out here naked. Nope, going to go for the Auric Interrogator, and he will drop the Xeon Initiation on it to start drawing the cards.
Yeah, so I guess Ace wanted to play around the Vanquish and actually have the Interrogator live. He'd rather sacrifice the Sandstorm Titan because you figure when your opponent's stuck on power, you probably have a ton of action. So that's good heads up play there.
Yep, and certainly has a ton of action in Moosh's hand. Double Valkyrie Enforcer, double Seraph, Scouting Party, Xenon Obelisk, Amber Acolyte, and we find a Seek Power, so that will get him to 3 power, but definitely not in time with a 6/6 and a 5/4 with Killer on the other side. Was not going to happen, so Ace is able to take down the first game in a very unfortunate fashion as Moosh was just not able to draw power at all.
Yeah, had he drawn, there were a couple points in there where if he had drawn a power, he would have been able to come back. You can survive on a minimal power for a couple turns, but that was a little too long for Moosh to hold on. And we're back into game 2 here of the final series of the Invitational in the grand finals match.
Yeah, and this is our last invitational, really our last tournament before what will be the World's Wild Card, as well as the final tournament of the season, of the whole season, the whole year, I should say. Been
Yeah,
building
World
towards this
Championship.
for 1 year now, just over 1 year. Gonna finally have a winner. Got a huge prize pool coming up, and both these players really just trying to punch their ticket right here. Ace, I believe, will possibly have a shot. Actually,
If
no.
he
I think Ace
loses.
has to win. I think Ace has to win. I'm not sure if he makes wild cards, even if he loses. I do believe Moosh has enough points that he should be able to qualify for the wild card, and I think he's locked with just the points difference from a second place.
Yeah, he might not even need to play in the wild card, but I'm not an expert. We can go to the back end for that.
Yeah, we'll get that information up here shortly. We got Rekenner, of course, on that. Yeah, Moosh is, in fact, a lock for Worlds already. Just bit the second place finish. And Ace is at least a lock for wild cards. So no matter what happens here, both players, Moosh will be in Worlds, and Ace has a definite chance to get in here. But Ace is trying to make sure that he punches that ticket right here. If he goes up 2-0, this will be a great start for him on his way.
Yeah, this is looking like it's going to be that way. Moosh having one of the more low tempo hands, one of the more anti-control hands with this obelisk and stand together that can get a lot of value as the game goes on. But Ace just putting down powerful card after powerful card with these two very threatening units and just going to push way too much damage for Moosh to be able to handle and not going to be able to get any value out of his obelisk or stand together.
Yeah, this is going to be a beatdown for sure. Moosh trying to determine what he wants to do here. It looks like he's going to go ahead and wow.
Well, not use stand together.
Yeah, yeah, it didn't it would have survived. That's very weird that Moosh doesn't actually do that there. I don't know what he's waiting for, but I think whatever he's waiting for is going to come way too late at this game.
Yeah, if he had
Valkyrie
used stand
Enforcer.
together, he could have played Obelisk the next turn and actually been able to block that Sandstorm Titan. But now he's just kind of out of options.
Yeah, it is very late, as we mentioned, for Moosh, though. Like, probably just a misplay. He has been playing. He has been up for quite a while to play. He was, of course, the second match of the day.
And that Carnosaur is going to lock up this game almost certainly. Even a scouting party or something just chumps for one turn and then dies. So that's going to be 2 quick games going to Lights Out Ace.
Yep, Lights Out Ace taking the series down very quickly, and we're going to see them go into post board. So, I mean, we've already seen post board. They should have their decks ready, but it will take them just a second to get into it.
Yeah, so if Ace takes this first post board game, then we see Ace taking that's it. That's Ace taking the Season 6 Invitational right here, 3-0 potentially. But obviously Moosh has a chance post board. We saw him take out Ace in the last series, so definitely a possibility. But yeah, this is for all of the proverbial marbles. Yeah, this is going to be really exciting. To see either player as a champion would be really exciting. I don't know that Eternal Titans has ever had a champion. I don't. I'd have to check their roster, or I can ask the. So okay, so I've been informed that Sunnyvale is on Eternal Titans, which I did not know, and he just won the last Invitational. So they do have one champion. Ace would not on a team would be taking the championship. I don't know if there's any champion who is not on a team. That's another thing I would love to ask the back end there. Um, I'm pretty sure though that they're all on a team. So Ace would be the first sort of rogue player, definitely pretty well known and out there, just from being part of aReNGee and writing articles and stuff. But
Yeah,
we're in game now.
we are in game here, and Ace leading off with the Blister Sting Wasp and that all important Hourglass, which might have stopped Moosh from putting the Permafrost in, although they did him a fantastic job. And even in the game where Ace was able to establish it, the 5th game of the last series, he still wasn't able to bring it down. Though Ace certainly has some choices here, and wow. Interesting choice here out of Ace, I have to say. He really feels like he needs to put pressure on his opponent, so he chooses not to use the Suffocate here. I don't think this was bad, it's just interesting leadoff. This is actually going to get pretty punished here, though. I think Ace is just going to be able to go Zenith Initiation and trade for the Awakened Student, and then also suffocate the Kothon.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really good coming out of Ace here. He was able to get that turn 4 Sandstorm Titan, which really makes Moosh's game plan a lot more difficult. Also having that Infinite Hourglass, the one of Infinite Hourglass again. Wow, that's so powerful here. Desert Marshal going to take care of this Blister Sting Wasp, but Ace doesn't really mind too much. He still has that Zenith Initiation to play on this Titan, which can take care of Awakened Student. The problem here is if he blocks right now, he's going to have that Titan taken care of by this Runehammer, and that's what Moosh is really looking for.
Yeah, Moosh is going to be able to capitalize very heavily on Ace if he misplays here and goes for a block. And even if he doesn't, I mean, like, I feel like at this point, since Moosh has that threat, he should be willing to jam the Awakened Student in here.
Yeah, still 7 damage.
Yeah, you have to be a little worried, but Ace didn't play any units on turn 4, so worst comes to worst, he's holding either a Reinarch or a Carnosaur. Not a lot else he would be holding on to at this point outside of removal. I think you're definitely forcing this in here, but we'll see. Maybe Moosh opts for a more conservative line. You're definitely at least getting it with the Desert Marshal.
Yeah, right now I'm favoring Moosh a little bit. Ace has not really gotten the same amount of card advantage, I guess. Was Ace on the draw, or was Ace on the play? Is that yeah? So Ace played the Infinite Hourglass, which is kind of card disadvantage because it doesn't do that much visibly, and especially not now when your only unit is a Titan. And then Ace also lost the Blister Sting Wasp, while Moosh also got to keep a 2-1 out of that. So Moosh just a little bit ahead there on the card advantage.
Yeah, Moosh is a little bit ahead, although that's a pretty big pickup for Ace, something he was definitely looking for here. He's got the Blister Sting Wasp now, and he's going to be able to put Zenith Initiation on it. He's going to have an option of what he wants to trade into here. I think it's going to have to be the Awakened Student, although he does go for the Seraph. I don't hate the line, but this Awakened Student now will become a 6/6 on the next turn, so...
Right, but it can't really attack into the Blister Sting Wasp from Ace's perspective. He doesn't know that these 2 Rune Hammers are there, which is the problem.
Right, he can't attack into it, but you have to look at it as Ace can't force damage through for quite a while either.
Yeah, well,
I mean, I still don't think Moosh is like willing quite yet to attack with this anyway, because Moosh is going to take a lot of damage here.
Another Runehammer is not what Moosh wants to see, and yeah, Ace has managed to sneak in just the right amount of damage here.
Yeah, and now this gets a little more interesting.
Wow.
I mean, Moosh is definitely going to throw the silence on the... Like, he's going to throw the Desert Marshal into block, I think, to prevent himself from taking damage, but it doesn't get rid of the Sandstorm Titans.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Yeah, I guess he's waiting for something.
This is both players
playing
very, very carefully here, playing around so much stuff, and really kind of trying to bait each other into making mistakes. Ace reading the Rune Hammers, Moosh, being aware that of how this Desert Marshal can help him in the future, and knowing that he has a little bit of health to spare.
This
But
was
yeah,
the
this
big one, though.
banish.
Yeah, this banish is absolutely going to turn the tide, I think. It may not win Ace the game, but it's definitely going to put him in a much more favorable position than he was sitting in.
So
Now,
Ace has two options here. He has banish student, which is just like the safe, obvious line, or he has hold up banish, take the 6, and banish the Runehammer when it comes down, kill the Desert Marshal with blocks, and attack in for 5 with the student on exhausted. But then what do you do?
yeah, this is going to be a hard decision-making point here. I'm guessing Ace, since he's going to take care of the Runehammer now, with the banish, since he didn't elect to take care of the student. Guess you just have to here. I mean, he's going to force him down, but then Moosh is able to chump block here, so he's still ahead on the clock.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't even have to chump block if he doesn't want to.
You're right. You're right. He doesn't have to chump block at all. I imagine he would. Ooh, now that was
is a
important.
big pickup.
That was a really important pickup here. And now Moosh, I feel like, can't chump block at all. I feel like if he chump blocks here, he's just like sealing his fate. And yeah, not a power picked up by Moosh. Power would have been a huge pickup here, allowing the Awakened Student to become a 7/7 and push him out of range. But now, as it stands, he's just going to be a 6/6. So might still swing in with the 6/6 and offer the trade for Ace. And I think Ace finally has to take this one. But no, he's going to let it slide. Wow.
He might get punished for that. And the other thing, drawing a power there, I think would have just sealed up the game for Moosh, because he would have been able to attack the 3/3 as well and then get the Runehammer trade.
Yeah, Ace is swinging in here. He takes away the power. What does he have? He's got, okay, it's
power.
It's a 7/8 now. He's going to silence it here, but
and
it's not going to matter. Yeah, he's going to be able to swing in wide.
So Moosh going to just take game 3 here. We're going to go 2-1. Ace still needs to win one more match, and Moosh has to clean up the next 2.
Yeah, he's done it before, though. He was able to go down 2-1 and then take it back. Of course, he didn't win 3 straight last time, but even still, you might see it.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, anything could happen at this point. We've seen both players make some really interesting plays. I think Moosh maybe made one misplay there that we pointed out, but as the game went on and as the game board state got more complicated, there were a lot of really cool reads that came out from both players.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we're about to get into our next game. We have just a little bit of time. Ace taking a moment possibly to get himself sorted out. It definitely has been a long run here, so we'll see what the holdup is. But I think, yeah, we're about to queue back in, and it's hard to say anything that hasn't been said here. This is really going to come down to these opener hands. If Moosh draws even one hand dead, though, in the next 2 games, like, that's just going to seal it. You know, Ace has been lucky enough to have that happen at least twice now. But I don't think he's going to get that luck a third time. This is a good hand out of Ace, though.
Oh, yeah, and he's got the Infinite Hourglass again, the one of Infinite Hourglass, this time backed up by 2 Titans and an Instigator.
Yeah, and this is great, and Moosh's hand, by comparison, is absolutely terrible. Like, he's got 1 Desert Marshal and an Obelisk and a dead Permafrost.
Yeah, Moosh's hand is really reactive, and the Obelisk is more of a late-game type card. And, well, the Awakened Student saves his hand just a little bit for Moosh.
Yeah, the Awakened Student at least makes this a lot better than it otherwise was. Ace just needs to find one removal spell to take care of this, though, and he is definitely going to lock this game up. The Instigator is good as well.
I really like Ace not playing the turn 1 Hourglass, because he has a potential blowout. Oh, you Permafrost me? Okay, I'll play Hourglass, remove the Permafrost.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I don't necessarily think it's great, though. I think I would like to have seen it now, because now Moosh has the option to, like, push some damage here. Like, he's going to be able to throw the Permafrost and push in 3, so it's like a slight punish.
Yeah.
Not really much of a blowout, unfortunately. I think just locking the Permafrost offline from the get-go is probably a little bit better, but...
Yeah, it's more power efficient, whereas now he actually has to spend a power at a time that he doesn't want to play this Hourglass. And I don't think
he'd rather save the banish, yeah. rather banish off here since this is the only threat Moosh has been able to come up with. Moosh likely to just go ahead and lead into the obelisk here, which is good for Ace since Ace will be able to just banish away the only unit he's playing.
Yeah, I'm very surprised Ace didn't go for the main phase, like on his turn banish, because of all of the stand togethers and things. Yeah, and as you can see, Ace trying to play around stand together by letting that attack go through.
Yeah, I think he's actually just going to drop Ion here as well, since Ion is basically a pretty good life swing anyway.
Yeah,
he doesn't know
and
about
then
the
he
Desert
can-
Marshal, but the Desert Marshal still like lets the 3 damage through, and also Ace has Sandstorm Titan following this, so
And
he'll
look
be
at
able to
Moosh.
block either way.
Moosh carefully leaving up 3 power to continue to make Ace play around stand together.
Yeah, he's definitely psyching him out right here, although since Ace has the power, I don't think it's going to matter. It's going to be a Sandstorm Titan coming into play here. Can't imagine he'll let anything else fly. And the big boy comes down, and this is going to lock Moosh out for 1 or 2 turns. And if Moosh wants to power down here to play the obelisk so that he can swing past, he's going to have to concede that he doesn't have the power to hold up stand together.
But Moosh now not in a reasonable position, right? He's got 6 power. He's going to have an obelisk in play. If he draws something like a scouting party, it's going to be a big deal.
It will be a big deal, but he can't afford to take very much damage. And see, now that Moosh is going to tap out, like Ace will just let this 6 slide through, then he'll just banish off the Awakened Student, and now he's like definitely in the hot seat. He's going to be pushing a lot of damage. He's also got the Carnosaur and the Titan to follow up with.
Yeah, well, Ace is going to need to draw a couple power.
Yeah, he will certainly need to draw a couple power, but yeah, see, we're going to see this swing come on the other side, and curious to see how Ace chooses to play this out. Like, I feel like he has to banish away the Awakened Student here. Whoa, gonna banish the Obelisk. Interesting.
Gonna keep his Instigator alive.
Yeah, he does.
He's just pushing the damage. That's a really aggressive line from Ace. I kind of like it, but it is super risky.
I mean, he has the Infinite Hourglass, so I guess it's only but so risky, right? Because like he can just make blocks here, but now he's kind of just held down by the 1 unit for the meantime. I mean, he can swing and go wide, but then he loses the Titan and he only pushes 6, so he's not shooting lethal. I think you might do it anyway, though, since you have another Titan to back up. Oh, I like that, though. That's going to allow the Sandstorm Titan to come right through. I actually kind of disagree with this, though. I think I would still go in with all the units here. Like, at worst, like, he blocks a 3, but you still push 8, and then you establish another Sandstorm. Or you establish...
Well, you definitely don't go in with all the units after you use Vera's Favor, right? You attack first and then use Vera's Favor. This Island's Choice, though, going to be a big deal.
Yeah, Island's Choice could be a deal here. In fact, it definitely will be. It's going to take care of one of these large units, but I don't... It does matter, but I think Ace is in such a commanding position now, I don't think it matters that much. Like, yeah, Ace is going to lose a few things, but this Desert Marshal has to be jump blocked into something. Ace is still going to push through 1 unit, so he's still going to put his opponent down to 5, and he's going to reload with the Sandstorm Titan with still 3 units on board.
I don't know if Ace can really afford to lose his whole board like that, though.
I definitely think he can from this point. Like, I think you can afford to swing in. Like, watch what happens when the swing in. So Moosh is going to block here into the Sandstorm Titan with the 7/7, or he'll Island's Choice and trade one more thing, and he'll use the Desert Marshal to he'll have to trade away. Like, he has to jump block here. He doesn't have to, but I can't imagine he's not going at this point. Like, I don't think he can afford to go to 1 or 2. He could go to 2 depending on how he chooses to block this. And Ace has the reload, like he has the Sandstorm Titan, so he's outnumbering him on units. So no matter what, he's going down to 1 or 2 if he doesn't block with the Desert Marshal. If he does block with the Desert Marshal, then he still keeps the unit, clears another blocker, and Sandstorm Titan comes down for the reload. So I mean, this puts Moosh in a position where he has to find another unit or he's dead on board.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was thinking if Moosh had something to play, but he doesn't. He just has his Kothon. He can't activate it. He's gonna have to chump with it. Which is going to just put him dead the turn after.
Yes, it will, and depending on if Ace even just picked up a power right now, he will just be able to drop the Predatory Carnosaur and clear his way into the win. He does pick up another Sandstorm Titan, which is essentially just as good here. He's doing the math, although I'm not sure what he's looking at now that he's picked up the Sandstorm. I think he's trying to see if there's like any way he can use the Zenith Initiation to make this spot better, but Pretty sure you just shove all in here. You still get a profitable trade. You put 3 more damage on your opponent, and you drop the Sandstorm Titan. Don't think there's any way around it.
Yeah, so I think Ace, this goes back to Ace banishing that obelisk over the Awakened Student. I mean, I suppose if this Awakened Student wasn't here, Ace would still just be winning and probably more. But it did translate to an extra unit and allow Ace to go wide here.
I don't like that out of Ace though. I prefer the all-in attack and just force your opponent to have it. Like, you outnumbered your opponent the next turn with 3 units. Not going to matter here either way though, as Moosh does pick up a power and not going to get it done. Lights Out Ace is going to be your Season 6 Invitational winner.
Yeah, that is going to be it. It's going to be lights out for Moosh. Ace taking the Season 6 Invitational Championship once this attack goes through. Just goes to show that, you know, having a developed team and doing a lot of testing, not as good as streaming and memeing all day.
Yep, not quite as good. So do see him taking it down. Both these players are now going to be qualified for Worlds. Fantastic series. Big congratulations to both of our players, Lights Out Ace for taking it down and Moosh for his second place. He's going to lock it up. Now I'm going to toss it over to Rekenner to go ahead and help us close this out.
Woo! That was a long day of Eternal. We saw a lot of amazing games, some sick plays, some loose plays, but, you know, it was a long day for the players as well as the production crew. We've been doing this since 11 o'clock this morning in terms of the stream. But the players have also been doing this since noon as well. So it's a 7-hour day for the players. I can understand a couple of suboptimal plays toward the end of the day. But again, hey, these are the best of the best, and they proved it. So I'd like to congratulate Lights Out Ace, our very own, taking the win, punching his ticket to Worlds, getting rid of another caster for Worlds, so who knows who we're going to throw in the booth for that. He also earned a champion badge on Discord and an $80 cash prize. And also, of course, congratulations to Moosh, our second place player, who wins a cash prize of $60 and 9 series points, which effectively punches his ticket to Worlds as well. So, I would like to thank all the players in this event and all of the players in every one of our open events. I'd like to thank all the viewers. We had a great number of viewers today, almost 500 toward the end of the day, I believe. Fantastic to see y'all out there. And really putting this tournament and stream on every week is great, and if it wasn't for all of you, we couldn't be doing this. I'd also like to thank our usual cast of producers, Militool and Teehee, and a very special shout out to aReNGee himself, who took over for producing this weekend because Militool could not produce. He had a emergency come up, and so aReNGee filled his shoes. They were big shoes to fill. We had some hiccups on day 1, but aReNGee pulled it together, and we had a great stream for day 2. I'd also like to thank Mengar for our tiebreaker script and the deck image creation tool, which we've been using all day today. And thank you to X Kirby for his work on our weekly highlights. He should be getting the VODs for this event up on Twitch and YouTube shortly. And a huge thank you to our $20 Patreon backers, who are Chuck Hurst, Easy, Chris Kearns, Andre Pakai, Seek Power Gaming, and Frosty HS. They make it possible for us to have our prize pools at these events. None of it will be possible without you. You can find our Patreon at www.patreon.com/RNGEternal. And finally, a thanks to our casters. Our casters today were Bairdrus, Loco Pojo, and Calimdir. Unfortunately, Pojo started to be a bit sick and had to duck out. So thanks to him, but he won't get the chance to plug his stream, which is, of course, twitch.tv/LocoPojo. He streams most weekday nights and sometimes on Sundays as well. But Bairdrus, would you like to say anything to our audience?
Not too much. I just want to thank everybody for coming out and watching today. It was a fantastic day, really exciting bunch of matches there. Again, big congratulations to all the players, and a very big congratulations to our own Lights Out Ace for taking down the whole tournament. I'd be super excited to see him at Worlds, and I look forward to casting the wildcards and the Worlds tournament. And Calimdir, go ahead.
Well, you know, just the same thing as usual. I'm really excited that I got to cast this. It was really cool to see the finals and actually casted, and it was really cool to see how many people watched. So thanks everybody watching and all the players. Cool to see Lights Out Ace. I like his stream. I like him as a guy. He's part of aReNGee, so it's cool to see him take down a tournament. And as usual, I will pretend like I will eventually stream or something. I actually am moving soon, hopefully to a location where my internet is more stable and I have more privacy. So if that happens soon, you will see me streaming on Twitch TV/Calimdir or something. But for now, as always, you can catch me on Reddit, Discord, or Twitter, just as Calimdir.
Indeed. I have caught a couple of Gabe's streams back when he used to stream. It was pretty good. Could have used some work. He was new to it. I imagine his casting it will have made him a much better streamer, and I can't wait for him to actually start. And that's it for the Season 6 Invitational. We will be putting on the Worlds Wildcard Tournament next weekend, then Worlds on the 2 weekends following that. That is, Worlds will be on the weekend of November 11th and 12th, and 18th and 19th. And we also have Lights Out Ace, our very own winner, streaming on Wednesday, Thursday, and sometimes Sunday nights. And once again, thanks to everyone out there. It's been a great tournament, and everyone out there, I hope you have a great night and enjoy the music on the way out.